There we go. Hey, everybody, this is Chris here, and today I'm talking with Chelsea Weaver from, so Filthy Traders, Passiflora, and I'm missing something, aren't I?
I have a new band called Sick Crush.
Okay, so I definitely don't know about that band. We'll have to get to that, but I primarily met you through a lot of your activity in Filthy Traders, and you played with a lot of different bands around Seattle, and eventually I got to catch you, and I think I've seen you guys a handful of times now. Um, And Filthy Traders is murder punk, right? That's the tagline you guys go with.
Hell yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and it's there's definitely some songs about murders and stuff, but why don't you go ahead and share a little bit more like what Filthy Traders is?
Yeah, so we call it murder punk. A lot of our songs are about murder mysteries and serial killers, which is kind of the start. And we've been, I think it's like really close to our 9-year anniversary. So we've been doing this for a while, and we keep asking like, are we still murder punk? Have we like progressed beyond murder? And the question so far has been no.
No.
We still we still are writing songs about this. Maybe just because that's broad, like there's a lot of murder to write about. I think so. So it has this thematic
Mhm.
theme through the lyrics, and maybe even more so than murder. I think a lot of the songs are about like getting revenge or like being optimistic that there is that penance that really horrible people will pay somewhere, in this life or the next. Um, and yeah, there's a lot of real life events we can talk about under that theme. I think like as far as what does that mean sound wise or like musicality wise, we don't have a maybe as clear of connection. So it's not like we're like let's write a song that feels like murder, right? It's more of we generally write the music first and then talking about like what does this song mean to us, what should it be about, and it's then that's when we make the murder tie-in. Sometimes it's intentional, sometimes it's not, and it still happens. And we do have a handful of songs that are not under the murder umbrella.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting because seeing you, there's a lot of energy and it's kind of this upbeat, almost cheerful attitude. So it's like these dark things, but kind of I think goes hand in hand. Like murder culture's become kind of popular. You can watch
Yeah.
shows about your favorite serial killer in almost celebratory fashion. So I think
Sure.
it's fun though, and I like that you add in kind of like the revenge part because then maybe it is a bit more cheerful. But usually your shows are pretty high energy. So is that like just the personality, or is it also like we want to put forth a good time rather than just like a dark kind of bleak thing?
Yeah, I don't know how intentional it is, but it's so fun to play shows. I guess like I can't help being energetic and smiling and jumping around. And I think that translates like in the music too. Like we like groovy stuff. We like upbeat. We like a lot of transitions. Like there's a lot of that I think in our set. So we'll have like ideally like really high highs and really low lows where it gets slow and really heavy. But yeah, I think it's more just kind of who we are and how we feel playing that
Hmm.
comes across.
And so now if we move over to Passiflora, that's a bit of a different project altogether. And I think I've only seen Passiflora once, but it was a bit more pop, really. How would
Yeah.
you describe Passiflora?
Yeah, definitely more pop. Like maybe a more that alternative 90s like lighter. I feel like the songs are just on the whole lighter.
Hmm.
It's more like we sing songs about relationships or sometimes touch on state of the world, but that band it was started during COVID and
Hmm.
was really Jeff who co-fronts it with me. We really decided that it should be like a contrast to all the dark times, all of the division. So it was very intentionally designed to try to like bring people together, make the content and the music really relatable and pull people in. And yeah, it definitely you can tell in the songs. There's a lightness. There's I think an approachability. Hopefully, at least that was our intention. Yeah, in contrast to Traitors, which is a little darker.
And so in both bands, you do vocals, I guess Passiflora like kind of co-vocals. I don't know how you
Yep.
describe it. Are you and this is just because I can't remember your guitar in both as well, correct?
Yeah, in Traders, I play guitar for, I was trying to do the math, like maybe like 60% of the
Mm.
songs. But I will, yeah, set it down and jump around. And Passiflora, I play guitar the whole time. And you're right, we go back and forth male, female vocals, harmonies, that kind of stuff.
And so on top of all that, now you have this third band, and why don't you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, so Sick Crush, we started, I think it's been close to 18 months since we like had our first practice. It's a three-piece, all girls. I
Hmm.
play guitar, really awesome people on bass and drums, and mostly the bassist and I will sing, but the drummer also does backups too, and we want her to sing more in the future. So it's yeah, um, it's really fun because I've never played in a three-piece before, and being like the only guitarist, and like I've been in other bands where there's been a keyboardist, but just like if there's only three of you, there's a lot of space. So it's been um, uh, kind of scary at times, but good. And it's really fun. It's still like in the punk vein. There's some pop, maybe more indie. We were really inspired by um, bands in the 90s like Ruka Salt and Elastica, female fronted, kind of angry. Like I, we've called it a little bit like second wave or third wave Riot,
Hmm.
like referring to the original Riot Girl movement. And I feel like women in music are really coming back really hard, and so kind of yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's angry, it's happy, it's cute, all these things, and it's really fun. Yeah, it's been a fun kind of third pillar of the musical triangle.
Okay. And yeah, I mean it's great that these things are diverse and that you have these different intentions behind it. One thing I always shared with people about the Seattle area is that there's such a density of musical projects and all kinds, right? So as you're like navigating these three things, how do you kind of keep a sense of identity, but like the artistic identity and output? Because you can go to one of like 20 shows on any given night, and there's all these awesome musicians. So how do you kind of keep your slice of that?
Yeah, I think it's hard. I think for me, like with the exception of like Traitors and naming ourselves murder punk, it's been a very natural process that comes by just like um, maybe playing off the other people in the band,
Okay.
and like if everybody is giving their opinion and like coming up with stuff and helping to shape the song,
Hmm.
then like I feel like your all of your musical preferences kind of meld together.
Mm.
So it's maybe more just a consequence of the people in these different bands and the fact that they are different people. And yeah, kind of like what we get when we combine our powers together. But I will also say that like as that happens, I find that I'll adapt and like in my songwriting, I will start to like there's like an outlet for my songwriting that goes
Mm.
to traders. And when I'm coming up with an idea, I usually know pretty early like which band it's going to and can
Okay.
kind of just like start to define these channels. Like I said, for Passiflora, it's supposed to be yeah, approachable. Like easy is maybe not a good word, but like I'll never overthink a
Mm.
Passiflora song. Whereas Traders, I might spend a lot of time like really honing it. And then for Sick Crush, our songwriting there is really collaborative. Like a lot of times, I won't write the lyrics, and that's
Hmm.
that's really different because I usually like for Traitors I write all of the lyrics, and so maybe I'll
Hmm.
be the one coming with a guitar part, and then the girls will help me finish the song. So yeah, kind of develop these patterns for each of the bands, but I think it's the fact that they are different people and everybody's contributing is really what shapes the sound.
Yeah, that's some good information because there's just so many musicians now that they seem like they're in two or three projects, even if it's like, oh, I just do like recording sessions with this one group, we don't
Mhm.
perform or something like that. And it's kind of like that's a lot of identity to carry around. And obviously you
Yeah.
have your personal life and your work and whatever your like friendships, relationships are. So it's like you are a lot of different people, but you're still you. When you and I have talked, when you're off stage, right? Pretty laid back, but on stage you got this high energy, and you're like, you're definitely somebody who's good in that like front person role. So, I can only imagine that there's sometimes where you need that break, but I could be wrong. Do you ever need time to like just go be like quiet and off in the middle of nowhere?
Uh, no. um, like I guess uh, for like I do really drain myself in Filthy Trader shows, and it's like from the moment we arrive at the venue, it's like it's on, it's being social, right? It's being outgoing,
Mhm.
and then of course the live performance. And so I will like the next day just be totally dead and sore, and just, like don't want to talk to anybody. But I think like the drive to do music, to write
Mhm.
songs, to practice, to perform, that I haven't been able to satiate, even with three bands.
Wow.
I want to do it more, and I think like to the detriment of everything else in my life too. Like it's I feel lucky that I am so honed in on what I know what I want to do, but it's like it's not that I am doing more than that. That's really like where my focus is, and sometimes tricky to keep the other things in my
Mm.
life that I can't drop going.
Mhm.
So
Well, yeah, and I mean, for a local band, you guys seem to play a lot. Filthy Traders seem to play a lot. So it's definitely like the energy on stage, the songwriting, and all the musicianship, but it's also like, well, you guys are, you'll do like those mini tours where it's like a little bit of the West
yeah.
Coast or wherever you go out to, and that's a lot. But it's great to hear that you feel like you said that you're not yet satiated by that part of it. And I will say, I think that comes through, right? It's like an authentic experience you give every time.
Mm.
So I think it's probably more difficult than it sounds, I would imagine. I mean, loving what you do is great, but obviously there are times where you need a little bit of, you time. So,
Yeah, yeah. It does suck to like play a show and then wake up the next morning and have to go to work and like yeah, that's the worst part, I think. Going back to
yeah.
normal life.
Yeah. Um, And I think one of the other things, going back to that broad range of music in Seattle, I like that you touched on like the female aspect of it, and I fully agree with you. I believe that female musicians are definitely coming back into the spotlight in some pretty newly respectable ways. Obviously there's been a lot of musicians overlooked. For you, when you perform, is this part of what you're hoping to bring, or is it just like, I'm a musician, doesn't matter. There's so many different takes on this stuff these days, so it's helpful to hear your point of view on this.
Yeah, that's a good question. I feel like my point of view has maybe changed
Mm,
over the years. When I started, I was in my first band when I was 19. And I'm obviously quite a bit older than that now. But like in my first band, it was like I would never wear a dress or a skirt on stage,
mm,
and I would never say that we were female fronted or had girls in the band. I
mm,
just wanted to be a normal band and be treated like a normal band. I think now it's like um, it's like it's more important that I'm me and
mm,
whatever that means, right? And trying to represent that. And it isn't like I feel like all ages is coming back, and we've been playing
Mm,
more all ages shows, and like to see young, like really young women at the,
hmm
girls at the show, and they, and they're like sign our tour poster. It's like, wow, am I like, are they going to pick up a guitar? Like
mm,
I do think about like that role that I am now in, that like hopefully will encourage more women to get going in music,
hmm
because I think that's that's the answer. Like
mm,
the more women that are in these, in bands and playing, it's just going to solve so many issues in terms of bias and, like you said, like people being missed over. So we just need more representation. So yeah, I think it's, yeah, being trying to like, I do still feel like it can be like anything. It's like I don't want people to come to the show because we're female fronted, or
mm,
we're a girl band. But I do hope that, like, yeah, just that representation, and not like trying to be like harder than I am,
mm,
or like, less feminine than I am, and just
hmm
just being me is maybe will pass down. So.
Yeah, I love it. For a while, alternative types of music were about like the identity of being this like outsider, but now it's really like, hey, I can relate with that person on stage because
Mhm.
we're both women, um, or whatever the identification is. And I and
Yeah.
I think that what I hear from a lot of people, in my talks is that I didn't realize this was something that we could do or we should do or we were allowed to do. Typically, I
Mm.
hear this from a lot of women. Um, and so it's like that kind of joy that comes from I saw a girl on stage and she was screaming and jumping around,
Yeah.
and I can do that too. And I think that's
Yeah.
beautiful. When you were younger, did you have any of those experiences like seeing somebody on stage that you felt connected to?
No, not live.
Hmm.
But I was a huge Garbage fan, still am, and Shirley Manson was a huge role model to me.
Yeah. Yeah, she's been a big role model to a lot of people. Um,
Yep, yep.
I haven't met many people who don't mention garbage in some way, shape, and form in their musical journey. So that's great. Um, have you encountered much in the way of challenges from being female in these touring playing bands, or has it been a different experience for you?
Hmm. I feel very, very lucky, in that it has been mostly smooth sailing.
Mm,
I hear stories from my friends that are in bands, and it has been real rough.
mm,
Um, I think, yeah, like most things that happen to me, we become jokes. Like I got, I I introduced myself to one of the other bands once as literally a member of Filthy. I'm like, I am the singer of Filthy Traitors. Nice to meet you. And they responded, "Are you the promoter?" And so now we joke about how I'm. They're like, "Shut up, Chelsea. You're just the promoter. Let the boys work." And but it's all in good. So stuff like that, like
no.
asking for drink tickets, and they tell you that. The drink tickets are for the band, not for their girlfriends.
Oh.
But it's like all of this is little stuff. Like, no, I mean, I know it does. I don't want to like it is. These are biases, but
Mhm,
like I feel very supported in all of my bands, and it's nothing that's ever maybe like question my path, or be deterred, or not want to do this. And
mm,
I know other people have. So again, like I think normalizing it, like the more I know it's hard to maybe cross the fence the first time, but like the more women that are in bands and show up to venues, and then the staff reckon, like
mhm,
the who they envisions being in the band starts to change. And I think
mhm.
that, again, I think that's the answer. Maybe it's too optimistic, but at least, yeah, trying to, I think that's one solution we can work towards.
Yeah, and I don't think it's too optimistic. I mean, it shouldn't be too optimistic. I've been going to shows for quite a while now, and I've definitely seen a huge increase in female fans attending and
Good.
performing. And even like you said, the staff, even the security staff,
Yeah.
now we'll see more women on the line,
Oh, great.
doing crowd control, crowd surfers, all that stuff.
Yeah, 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 that's
Um,
great.
And the attitude toward them, again, just from my viewpoint in the crowd, seems to have changed. So I hope that you're not wrong and that it's optimistic. But I think there's still obviously a long way to go.
Yeah.
And the number of times that I've seen you, I think all but maybe once, but almost all of them, you've played with other, right? You've played with Always Naked and Creamsicle,
Mm,
Kitty Junk, like, bands that
yeah.
have a very strong female presence. And again, from my perspective, there's no like grumbling in the crowd about it. Like people are there to
Right.
see these bands,
Yeah.
these members put out some, good rock music, punk, fun time kind of let loose. So is that rewarding for you when you get that vibe back?
Yeah, for sure. And I love, yeah, when we stack the lineup, so that it's, yeah, in Traders it's mixed. Like in Sit Crush we really do like try to play
Hmm.
um bills where like if we could get 50% of the performers to be women,
Hmm.
like that's a win. That's a really hard
Yeah.
objective though. Um, but then like a lot of shows I am the only woman on stage, there'll be like four bands and just
Hmm.
me. So yeah, I think when we can connect and like maybe it's not normalized across everything, but for that night it's fairly normalized, and this is what music looks like. I think that's important, and it's fun. Like it's just nice to connect with people that have had a more similar experience probably
Hmm.
as me.
That's great to hear. Do you see moving forward, like kind of on your horizon, as long as you're still playing and performing and everything, do you see any new challenges or obstacles, just even generally speaking, or gender specific, that give you a little bit of pause, or maybe there's something that you guys are still like, or you are still thinking about, or does it seem like things are opening and expanding and going down this more optimistic path?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I worry about getting old. Like, I do think about that a lot and like what that's going to change, like image-wise. Like, to be totally honest, like, will people think I'm cool if I'm really old? Um, but like, I feel like I'm in a very lucky place and that we do have, like, my role models growing up, they are now, in their 60s and still rocking.
Hmm.
Like Joan Jett is slaying it. And like other people, Debbie Harry, I think
Hmm.
either is still doing shows or very recently was doing shows. So I think that has been really helpful, like to see like no, my timeline doesn't end, at this certain time. Um, so that helps. I do think though, like yeah, I like I worry about the physicality of it too.
Mm.
Like, will I be able to jump 6 feet down in 10 years? I don't know. But like, yeah, we'll figure out that problem. I guess, yeah, that's what I'm worried about. Arthritis. Yeah, yeah. Just basically aging.
Sure. Well, and it's one thing, right? If you're I'm doing vocals, it's another thing if you're like, oh, my fingers are stiff and playing is getting harder.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, you look at somebody like Pat Benatar, who is obviously kind of groundbreaking in her way. She still performs, but it's more kind of these acoustic sets with Neil Girardo.
Mm,
Um, and it's much tamer.
hmm
Um, a couple of years back, I saw the band Coven, who, oh man, I forget the vocalist's name, but she's got to be 60s, early 70s now. She wasn't doing a lot of jumping, but she still had a presence on
mm,
stage. Um, and the rest of her band were I easily identifiably younger men, but it
mm.
was still like people were there for her. So I think that you have plenty of room to keep going, but again, you bring up some good points. What will it be like to jump down 6 feet?
Yeah.
I don't know. Um, do you, is there anything, like, and this is probably a bit harder to answer, but is there anything you're like, oh, I still really want to accomplish these things kind of in my musical prime, or I just want to keep playing and rocking out?
I would love to. I mean, we talk about getting big and like we gave up on that 10 years ago, but it's like, do you ever really give up? Like it's like like I think being able to do music more sustainably. Like we're always psyched when we do go on the road for a couple weeks and break even.
Hmm.
I think, yeah, if we could actually like make enough to pay rent on it and to, be touring 9 months out of the year, like
Mm.
that would be the dream. It's weird because yeah, I do feel like the clock is running out on that, but at the same time, trying to like remind myself that things are not bad now, and we're doing some very cool shit, and to just enjoy that and to keep working for it and yeah, what happens, but like don't be thinking about something you want when I'm not enjoying the cool stuff that's happening right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that making it these days looks different than it did,
Yep.
a while ago. Because it seems like sometimes people make it so quickly and easy. Granted, I think that tends to be more of the pop kind of
Mm.
music, generally
Yep.
speaking.
Yep.
Um, or you'll see in kind of like the rap hip hop, you'll see these big spikes in people's careers. Um, but now in like the rock and metal, I think unless you're kind of that almost corporate-y feeling, not to put any bands down,
Right.
but I think it is definitely harder to really peak. And again, in an area like Seattle, it's like how do we compete with just this large amount of
Yep.
musicianship that's out there? Because there's some
Yep.
incredibly talented bands in Seattle, but they're not doing these big tours. They're not probably paying their rent. It's like, and how
Right.
does how does this world work? This world of
Yeah.
music. So,
Yeah.
what are some what are some things that keep you guys going and motivated and like positive enough?
Mm. Um, I think like for me, just being focused, like I'm very, I have this notion that like if you work hard, good things would happen, and so I am just like, well, what can I do?
Mhm.
If I want something, like what can I do to achieve that? And I feel like with music, like it's there are it's never sufficient. Like you can't like guarantee anything happening, but there
Mm.
are necessary things.
Hmm.
And so like, if you're not tight on stage, if you're not releasing new music, if you're not good at playing your instrument, like all these things are necessary components. And so really trying to focus on those components, trying to be strategic, basically just like setting ourselves up to give ourselves the chance to succeed again. And I think you're totally right. Like that looks very, very different. But also like celebrate the successes that we do have. Like, when we play a show and we get a lot of people out and we feel
Hmm.
really good about the set, like that's right. Like that, we're doing it. Like right,
Yeah.
right. What more do you want? So I think, and knowing that that probably will happen sometime again.
Hmm.
It's not linear, right? Like we'll like play to a lot of people and then the next show there'll be two people and that's fine, but it's like are you continuing to do the work and
Hmm.
be there if an opportunity were to arise? So,
Hmm. Yeah, that's also great to hear the kind of hustle mindset, where you'll see bands come out and if the crowd isn't full enough, that you can see it in the face.
mm,
But you can also see the bands are like, oh, we're playing for whoever's here, regardless
yeah,
of how many people. We'll
yeah,
play for the other bands, we'll play for the
yeah,
staff. Like we love doing this. So um it's pretty incredible that though you can be together for this long and still say this is the approach, right? Hard work and fun, and authenticity. So I think that's great. Are there ever days though where it's like this is hard, almost too hard. I got to really give this some thought, or is it like no, those kind of pass?
um yeah, I mean it is discouraging, like we to give an anecdote, Traitors, we were really excited about a show we played in January at this very cool venue, Flight Path in Tukwila. We
Hmm.
had promoted it for months, had a really killer lineup, and it ended up being the same time as a Seahawks playoff game. And just like I had, this huge hope that it was going to be this great, successful, super fun show, and it wasn't, and we ended up drinking way too much tequila, and it was not our best set. Um, but like, I think learning from that too, like we have a joke like, all right, guys, let's not do flight path again tonight. Like, speaking to the mindset, and we have to keep it together. And when it's not how you expect it, like you need to, yeah, just like you were saying, like it still needs to be your fullest and your best show, and you need to be the one putting those positive vibes, positive energy into it. Because if you're not, then it's like you're just wasting everybody's time, I think, if you're bummed out. Um, Also, I feel like, yeah, with traders, I'm sometimes I'll find myself like I feel like I'm doing all of the work, and I'm like, come on, guys, can you do more? And it's crazy. They have like other things in their lives that they care about, and I find that very confusing, and it's hard for me to be empathetic. So that can sometimes come up, and I'm just like, am I just like pushing against something that won't move? And like,
Mm.
how do I motivate these guys? Like, what do I do? Do I need to like look for something else? Like, are these not, is this not the group for me? But then I'm like, no, these guys are great. This, like, especially when we play a show, I'm like, wow, this is magic. Like, yeah, this has, I need to just keep working
Mm.
on them,
Yeah.
but yeah, like to be honest, yeah, I do ask, like, am I just banging my head against the wall? Is nothing going to change? But
Mm.
again, like it's also coming back to like appreciating what is going well, right? And not, again, not
Yeah.
being so focused on something out of reach that yeah, not like I feel like we have made some good progress. We have played some shows I didn't think we'd ever play. So I think, yeah, celebrating those and not being blind and just focusing on the future.
Yeah, and I think that's great honesty because I think a lot of people only want to kind of put forward this sometimes this falsehood of everything's always great all the time and
Mm,
we overcome everything on our way, but it's never that way, because
yeah,
everybody's human, and like you said, there are other things that people care about that sometimes take a different priority,
yeah,
and it's like, damn, okay, what do I do here? So it's refreshing to hear you talk honestly about it. And obviously, you love the guys. I've seen you with them. You get along great. Um, but I think it's important to note those things because you're really doing yourself a disservice if you don't. Um, does that make it easier or harder as you do these kind of peripheral things such as like social media, making flyers, even like, oh, do I need to like replace this guitar or whatever? Is it hard to give these other considerations, or are those things easier than the core components of like the
mm,
writing, the playing? Um, some people love social media and some people are great at it, and other people like we do it because we have to.
hmm
Gear is obviously important to musicians, but some musicians are like, nope, this is my guitar. I'll just replace it with the same thing. So I don't know. What's your journey through these different elements of being a musician?
yeah. It's a lot these days, especially being independent. Um, I Yeah, I do feel like sometimes, well, first off, like I feel like for the most part that I can do them all or most of them, and very lucky in that Justin, our guitarist, he's a recording engineer, so he does like do so like he owns that recording part, so I don't have to worry about that, which that's really helps. And
Mhm.
Jack and Ryan do like take on other aspects of the band. Um, but I do find myself like asking the question, like, am I focusing
Mm,
on booking too much when I should be focusing on songwriting,
mm,
right? Or am I, you know, editing a video to post on Instagram when I should be practicing guitar?
mm,
Because like, if I didn't have to do that, I would be spending that time on what, like are the core,
mm,
like if you don't have good songs, right, and you can't perform them, it's like you shouldn't, social media doesn't matter, right? So I do, like, yeah, I think trying to keep them in balance, and there's just so much to do.
Yeah.
Booking is really hard. It's a lot of my time goes into booking.
Mm.
But it's like any skill, I guess. Like maybe you don't want to do it at first. You don't know how to do it at first, and you just learn how to do it. So I feel like over time it has gotten easier. But yeah, just that question of like any time I'm spending time on the business side, it's like, is this in the right balance? Should I be focusing more on the core music of it?
Mm. Yeah. I think, and I asked this the other day, I was thinking about there was a CD I wanted to buy and it was like $15 or whatever. And I was like, okay, that translates to however much per song. But then you realize like, oh, I listened to this
Hmm.
song like 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Right? And how long did that take Chelsea to like write this song and promote shows and all this to get these songs out
Mm.
into a CD? And it's a really interesting equation. I'm a big fan of Bandcamp, in a lot of ways too, as far as like digital music's concerned. Mostly because what I hear from musicians is like that's their best experience over like a
Mm.
Spotify or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Um, but also too, it's like, well, let's say each song was a painting, right? How many people go to the Louvre to see this type of painting or hang a picture up on their wall? So, the tremendous amount of work that goes into songs and booking and everything, and then the amount of times I'm going to listen to these songs and like wear a filthy Trader shirt and stuff. So I think that for me, again, just on the fan side, I try to pay attention to that stuff, but I don't know what
Mm.
it's like for you to say, what should I prioritize right now to get this out so that I can give, these fans something. And
Mm.
I don't know, is that like that's too broad to think about, or is it, something that you kind of focus in on this kind of um division and reward, I guess.
Maybe not as much as I should. I will say, like the example of listening to a song over and over, like that is priceless. Like, great, there is no amount of work or like monetary value on the musician side that
Mm.
like whatever I can do to like get even just one person to like love a song, like because the worst is when our date night album, it was a year, and just recording, like not even talking about songwriting, and like to release that, if even though we say, yeah, we do this for ourselves, like if nobody had listened to it, like that, we would have been proud of it, but it would have been really sad. And so I think the business and the marketing components, like
Mm.
just make all of that work worth it. And
Mm.
however much we need to do on that side, like I don't know that, you know, again, it's like a sufficient, but not like you still can't ever guarantee whatever you do that people will listen, right? But
Yeah.
if you can at least like give yourself a chance to have people listen, then whatever we need to do, we'll do it. It's a priceless experience.
Yeah, I think that's a great outlook to have. Um, and then I guess in wrapping up here, just kind of like the norm, I get the best music recommendations from other music. So what are three of your current favorite albums out by any artist at this time?
Ooh, albums. I'm not very good at album listening. Um,
Well, then just
can
songs
I say
or mu
band? Yeah,
yeah,
bands.
yeah.
Yeah. Uh, I really, there's a lot of local bands that I really like. I don't know if you dig have you heard of Skates? Um,
No, I don't think so.
they're a local three-piece. We just played with them Friday.
Hmm,
It's kind of like, it's a little like rockabilly punk. They're
okay,
female fronted. A lot of like 145s or like classic blues. But they're just so
cool.
fun and high energy. They're really cool. Um, uh, the Disorderlies, they're
Mm,
another local
mm-hmm.
female-fronted three-piece. They're more punk. I've really enjoyed their music a lot. I put it on our tour playlist and made the boys listen to it. I think like maybe bigger bands. I've been listening to a lot of Royal Blood a
Oh,
lot.
okay.
It's I don't even know why. I think a lot of times when I listen, I'll try to like figure out what it is I like and then how they're doing it. Not to like maybe, like directly copy it, but like kind of as inspiration. And so I kind of like just like the vibes or the groove and the style. I like I don't know, when a song just sounds cool, I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to like quantify that, like how are the artists making it, conveying that kind of cool, groovy, sexy. Yeah, so I've been studying Royal Blood.
Nice. And I feel like I've heard their name quite a bit in the last few years. I haven't seen them. I don't really know them well, but I definitely know a lot of people have been talking about that group in particular. You mentioned the Disorderlies. I know who they are. I never got to see them, sad to say, but they were a
Uh,
band that would like kind of like Filthy Traitors was for a while. Like, oh, I have to catch this band, but it's
uh-huh,
like
uh-huh.
the nights just never line up. And
Sure,
so
sure, yeah.
hopefully like next year when I come to visit, they'll be playing a show somewhere.
Cool.
Well, I thank you so much, Chelsea, for your time. All your links will be down below for people to check out, all your different projects and things.
Yeah,
Um, and yeah, hopefully next year when I come to visit, I can at least catch up with you or see you play
yeah,
again.
that'd be great. Yeah, thank you so much. This was fun.
All right. Thank you, Chelsea.